get that cake, I get that bread, you know I make things shake. You know I get that money, I get that cake, I get that bread.
I'm back in the building.
You know I get that money.
Put a little dirty South swag up in there.
Experience correction and guidance from a woman. So they get grown and they don't know how to problem solve or do things like a man. They get in a conflict or a disagreement with another male and they killing one another. They talking about one another like bitches. They backstabbing one another. They taking shit more personal than what it's meant. It's a full-grown man operating in all the ways of a woman because some woman felt like I could do it all by myself. Some father felt like it wasn't necessary for me to stick around and help see this shit through because healthy, balanced adults, productive members of society, they understand how to coexist with both male and female. Anybody got any questions on understanding that?
I have a question. Go ahead. Okay, so you know a little bit about, my daughter's father and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So he's in another relationship and with a woman who, for those of you who don't know, when she found out me and him were living together, she still didn't care. She got pregnant on purpose. And after, 5 years, me and him ended up separating and he went, so he's living with her. Mm-hmm. She would never let her child come to my house, ever. And it was basically because he said it was because you drink. But I'm like, what? I never heard a child. Like, it was ridiculous. But I had talked to her one-on-one at one point. She said that, the reason she didn't let her daughter come was because I would have his other kids and he was over there screwing her or whatever. So she didn't want, her daughter here with me, not spending time with her dad, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So now... So we could never go on vacations, or like all of us be together with like her daughter, my daughter, because they're close to the same age. But so now that he's over there, I've taken your advice and I'm not going to keep my daughter from her father. So I let her go around both of them, to the girl's house and stuff like that, because that's where he lives. And the main thing is she wants to be around her sister. And my daughter had never spent the night with anybody, but she wanted to have a sleepover with her sister. And I was like, you know what? That's what you want to do. So I let her spend the night. Okay, so come spring break, he wants Malia to come over there. And he's like, well, we were going to the wilderness. And I don't know if he's going to the beach because he comes to my dentist office. So I don't know what, but he wanted them to like, basically, I know the wilderness is like, it's like an indoor water park. But it's like, go on vacation. But y'all just, and so I feel a little like, indifferent, like, am I being bitter because I'm like, hell no.
So I'm glad.
My daughter come in for 30 minutes.
Britt, I'm glad you're saying this. So this is what I want to explain to y'all, right? And this is a very simple way to understand it. Raising a child, we're going to give the analogy that is similar to taking a huge rock and pushing it uphill. So the idea is from the bottom of this hill to the top is the entire upbringing of my child, right? And so the idea is, I'm going to go even deeper, Britt, because you own the money, right? The idea is me effectively raising my child is me getting this rock to the top of this mountain, right? You could come up with all kind of clever ways to do it alone, but to keep a consistent pace, to have a certainty that is going to get done, there are certain things that need to be in place, right? And this child, i.e. this rock, needs to have certain experiences so that when we get it to the top, it can stay up there, right? And so the idea is when we're talking about raising a child, we want a sound sense of family and understanding for how one operates in a healthy way. Disagreements and people operating differently, that's normal. That's a part of health and balance. The child needs a secure attachment, meaning they need to feel secure that this is something I am a part of, so I feel good about going out and exploring the world with the understanding that I could always come back and have that backing and support that I need. A child needs the experience with both male and female, right? And so the idea is with just naming a few of these things, the objective to get this done correctly is to get the rock up the hill, right? This is a lot of us. We pushing the rock up the hill. Our baby daddy pushing the rock up the hill. He fuck around and cheat, and now nigga get away. You don't get to help push the rock. So now it just makes it harder for you to push the rock up the hill. Then you go through a little scene. Hold on. I'm getting there. We pushing the rock up the hill. We go through a little season. You might have seen the Love Dorsey video or two. Now the nigga can come back and help push the rock up the hill, right? Rock would have been even further had he just been pushing this whole time. But you know, we get in our feelings. We make a nigga get gone, keep him away from the kids. Now he could come back. But he got a girl with him, right? So we like, oh, you could come, but she can't help push the rock. Even though her helping to push the rock is actually going to get the job done, the objective is to get the rock up the hill, right? And as long as nobody is counterproductive to pushing the rock up the motherfucking hill, what the fuck is the problem if you a real parent?
Well, that's the key. As long as they're not counterproductive.
Like, right. To the rock. Not listen to what I'm saying. To the rock, right? So we pushing the rock up the hill and we looking over there and, oh, I don't want her around my baby because I don't know her. Oh, I don't want him around my son because I don't know. Listen, we're pushing the rock up the hill. Can the motherfucker help push the rock up the hill or not? Some of y'all got to really understand there will be things like she came with an outfit I don't like. But if she came to push the rock up the motherfucking hill, what do it matter? Yeah, I don't like it. I don't necessarily know too much about her, but it's the bitch helping with the assignment at hand.
The betterment of the child.
The betterment of the motherfucking child. I'm not talking about it has to be the betterment of you, that you have to feel good or bad about it. It's the shit motherfucking productive. Most stuff that is valuable, it don't always feel good. Truth don't always feel good. Accountability don't always feel good. Managing your motherfucking emotions don't always feel good. Sucking certain shit up and getting the job done don't always feel good. Certain shit don't always look how you want it to look. We have lost sight of the actual objective to the point where our children get less from family because of our finicky ways based on our feelings. Our children get exposed to less of what they need to be exposed to because of what we are afraid to step out and maneuver through. There are family members that's carrying generationally cursed beefs with other family members, which is why this grandma can't give her baby no Christmas toy. Listen, I'm from the motherfucking hood. I've seen it all. I've seen hoes not allow bitches to give the kids a Christmas present or a birthday present, or can't come celebrate the child's birthday, all because you feel some. This shit has more to do with unmanaged emotions than it has to do with any damage being done to a child. We be doing these kids more injustice by keeping them stuck up under our damaged asses 24/7 with no access to nobody else. That be the motherfucking child abuse. The child abuse be the fact that a bitch got to sit up under your depressed ass, your trauma-filled ass, your motherfucking ass that's really sad and going through postpartum because the relationship didn't turn out. That's the motherfucking abuse these children are suffering, where they end up like how a lot of y'all saying right now. I am a grown adult, and in my childhood, the only thing I can solidly say that contributed to me being a broken adult is the fact that my parent was unavailable emotionally. That's what you be when you be in these situations where you are bitter, bruised, broken, out of touch with reality, with a lot of shit. You're perceiving it to be worse than what it is because your mental not right. You're not healthy for these children all by yourself. You're a big part of their upbringing, but just allowing them to be up under you, and you don't have anything but a high school education and a job that gets you paycheck to paycheck. How the fuck are you enough by yourself to produce a productive member of society that you say you want to do better than you? You're not. These children need every lesson they can get in their upbringing, every resource, especially if you come from like where I come from, where people ain't wealthy and rich. So you need resources. You need to know people. You need rooms you can go in and get help when I can't help you. You need places to go get information in areas that I don't know. It's a lot of us in the urban and black and, poverty-stricken communities. We know we don't know shit about no financial literacy. And we'll still sit around and say, my kids ain't going over there. My baby ain't going around that girl. My child ain't going with him.
I did not grow up in poverty, and I'm not African American. I may call myself urban.
You are a part of the urban culture. You are.
But I wasn't taught any of this. Like, my parents didn't. My mama didn't give me a bra until
you're saying this is what I'm saying. You're saying what I'm saying. Whatever the fuck you want to name your background. You knew at some point as an adult, I didn't get talked to about management of emotions. They didn't talk to me about therapy. They didn't speak to me about building resources so that when there are things that my immediate family doesn't know, I have people I've built relationships with that I can go get information from. Like what I'm saying is we be knowing as grown adults, we don't have all the tools. And then we will still sit up and cop block these kids from having access to other people that could possibly give them a fighting chance to have more than what the fuck we had. To me, that's abuse. The fact that you don't know these things, and then you're so picky about who the fuck they can interact with that's not causing them no harm. You're just picky because you're emotionally off balance.
It was just one time.
So, Brittany, I'm not speaking just directly to you. I'm talking in general about co-parenting. What I'm trying to help y'all do is understand as a adult, when you're trying to raise a young child or a teenager or a young adult, like the idea is I want to help you build resources, meaning people, places, and things that can support you in ways that I can't. So while I'm supporting you, I want you to have other people. I don't give a damn if it's your daddy girlfriend, your daddy mama sister. I don't give a fuck if it's somebody that could give you the financial information, the emotional information, the physically fit information, the job resources that I couldn't give you. Get that shit. They are part of helping get this rock up the motherfucking hill. And for a lot of us, you don't realize you can't call yourself a real parent until you can set your emotions aside and do what's best for your child. We be doing what's best for our feelings.
Okay, I got another spin on this, love. So I understood everything you just said. Now, with my situation, I feel that I've become obsessed with the idea of me and my children need a male around. They need to be exposed. They have their grandfather. You know, they have other male figures, but they don't have their dad. So me as their parent, I've been obsessed with the idea of a 2-parent household, of having that for them, of trying to show them stability, the stability that I've never seen. And I feel like that's where a lot of my overly emotional parts of me stem from, because it's like I take failed relationships. Like with my last, I have a 9-month-old son, and you know, I've taken the failed relationship or just feeling like people don't want to stick around very hard. It's like I feel like I'm constantly at the mercy of people wanting to stay in my life, or like begging people to be around, begging people to, hey, help us. Like we're needed.
So let me, so let me ask you this, right? And I love what you're saying. And you're going to get everything you need out of this Zoom, right? Let me ask, and anybody that wants to chime in, what skills, what character traits are needed to have a healthy, intimate relationship? Somebody just name some, whatever you feel like you know.
Effective communication.
Okay.
Yes.
When you say effective communication, what do you mean?
I mean, you just got to know how to talk to each other. You got to know how to communicate. Healthy communication is effective communication.
Okay, perfect. What else?
Speak in ways that...
you said what?
You know, you're not being offensive or defensive.
So all of that, yep. So I'm going to cut you off. All of that
is...
is...
a lot of us be on defense so much.
But hold on. I'm going to cut you off, Tanisha. All of that is about is a part of healthy communication. So I like that. So she said healthy communication. What else? Shayla, you started it. So tell me, who? What else? Say it again.
Accountability.
Accountability. What else?
A big important one for me is just consistency. You know, realizing that shit ain't gonna always be exactly how you want it financially, exactly how you want it, but it's just the fact of being able to consistently stick around and say, hey, I'm going to be here and I'm going to
So are you trying to say consistency or are you trying to say commitment?
Okay, maybe both. Consistency and commitment.
Okay,
yeah.
What else?
Would emotional...
Managing emotions?
Available be a part of communication?
No, you said managing emotions?
Yeah, managing emotions.
And then I heard you say being emotionally available.
Yes.
What else?
Compromise.
Compromise. I love it. What else?
I believe that you have to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Gloria.
Understanding each other's needs.
Understanding and needs, specifically needs. What else?
Allowing the other person themselves.
Allowing the other person what? Say that again.
To be themselves.
Yep, safe space. That's a safe space. What else?
Having respect for one another.
What else? Yep, respect. What else?
Taking inventory on yourself.
Yep, that tally up. I love it. What else? So there is.
Also,
go ahead.
You know, maturity and being responsible on the sides of both parties. Like not only things that are internal but external. Like I feel like in order to have a healthy relationship, both people have to be on the same level, like either financially or like at least know where they're going, have a vision for where they want to be in life, where they going. See, I was about to say that.
Okay, so pause for a second, right?
Trust, honesty.
So pause for here we go. So there is the understanding of privacy, right? And then there is the idea that we have to have an understanding of what we're doing, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
From there is boundaries. These are the things that y'all did not say besides understanding, right? So there's privacy, understanding, boundaries, right? People don't have to be in a certain space in their life to have a healthy relationship, meaning like they don't have to exactly know what they're trying to do with their career or their specific goals as far as where they want their life at to build a healthy social relationship. What y'all got to understand is in all of these areas that we're naming, you have to first check yourself to see what skills do you have in these areas. Because you cannot attract someone that has these things when you aren't aware of what it means to be healthy in these areas. Do y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Yeah, and that's why I'm open to this That's what I'm open to.
When I talk, there's a lot of people. Tanisha said it first. She said communication. When I talk to women and men, first thing they want to say is for a relationship to work, you got it. Communication is the key. That's their favorite little thing they done heard. But then if I say, okay, what are the rules of engagement in a healthy communication cycle? They don't know. All they know is communication is the key. What else goes along with communication?
Comprehension is a big one.
Right.
You can communicate all day, but if it's not being understood on both parties, if there's no like understanding, like I can scream at you, you can scream at me, I can say it in a nice tone, you can say it in a nice tone. But if you don't understand it, then it don't even make sense. There's no communication being had. Because
okay, so now watch this, Shayla. Watch this, because it sounds great. What you're saying sounds wonderful, right? How do you get somebody to understand you in a communication cycle?
Understanding their how they understand it,
how do you get me to understand you? We come from two different backgrounds, right? I was raised differently than you. I come from a different family unit. The culture might be different. Maybe it's the same. Maybe we both came from poverty. Maybe we didn't. Maybe I was raised with both parents. You was raised by a single mother. Maybe we both had both parents. How do we come together as two completely different beings with different life experiences and have a healthy communication cycle? How does it start? When we're talking about an intimate relationship.
I mean, you gotta you gotta have a conversation and set boundaries.
Okay, so no.
But how do you understand?
Okay, so let me put it to y'all like this. When you go to couples therapy, right? The therapist operates as the referee, so to speak, right? They understand mediator, referee, person to enforce the rules. They sit, and the idea is I'm going to get him talking, I'm going to get her talking about whatever conflict or things they're trying to resolve or agree upon, right? The therapist understands the do's and don'ts of healthy communication. So as these two parties communicate, all the therapist does is enforces the rules. Because you cannot get an understanding with someone when you are violently communicating or you're overly emotionally communicating. You can't make me understand some shit that when you express it, you start to make me defensive. People listen different when they're triggered and they feel like they're being targeted. So you can explain the shit how you want. You can break it down in layman's terms. But if I'm being triggered or I'm being put on the defense based on the don'ts that you're using in your communication cycle, you're not going to get a understanding even though you talking your ass off about what the problem is. Y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Yes.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
Understanding the person's triggers.
Nope. I'm gonna put on my nope.
Understanding how I'm.
Nope. It is for each individual to understand their own triggers. I'm gonna put on my screen the do's and don'ts of healthy communication, and I want y'all to screenshot it. I'm gonna start with the do's, and then I'm gonna put the don'ts. And the idea is you can't say communication is the key if you don't even know what the fucking rules are of healthy communication. That's just some shit you saying because it sound good. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of us as women, we do that often. We sit and we talk from a certain space like we know what the fuck we talking about. But we ain't read no books. We ain't been to no motherfucking therapy sessions. But we gonna sit a nigga down and teach him how to express and be available emotionally to communicate about this family and these kids. But bitch, you don't know no more than him about healthy communication. You ain't been to no school. You ain't took no courses. You ain't read shit about how to communicate from a healthy space. These are the things that I was saying earlier that you have to allow your children and yourself the space to get access to instead of just pretending like you know how to do it. Screenshot this. It says rules of engagement. In positive conflict, ideally, you're able to verbalize your needs and wants and mutually work out compromises. Your intent and how you approach differences are critical. It says the objective should be to resolve a dispute to the satisfaction of both of you. A lot of us, we talk to resolve a dispute for the satisfaction of just ourselves. It's not about winning or losing. This is when you hear me talk about it's not about right or wrong. It says you can win an argument, but the relationship may suffer if the partner feels discounted, deflated, or resentful. Planning when, I talk about this. Planning when, planning where, and how you approach a disagreement is important for achieving satisfactory results. It's helpful to make up rules of engagement in advance. These are the do's and don'ts of healthy communication. Screenshot the do's. Number 5, some of us have never done that in a communication cycle. When it talks about planning when, where, and how, when you are ran by your emotions, you don't plan shit with communicating. You think you're doing it right because you are communicating what you feel or what you're bothered by. You don't look at when, where, and how I'm speaking. Most couples don't even understand the safe space approach. This is where when I am talking, let us sit close. Let us hold hands. Let us create an atmosphere and ambiance conducive of health and positivity so that as we take on this uncomfortable conversation, we are reminded through our body language and how close we are that we are trying to build as a unit. Anybody got any questions on what I'm explaining? It definitely goes down to body language, what you say verbally, but what you say non-verbally, but also the tone. And I've said this on my lives as well. A lot of us, we can't maintain a healthy relationship because when it comes down to it, the home that we try to coexist in with this person, we made it conducive of arguments. We have all our nastiest, vilest arguments and communication cycles in our home. Message, couples therapy. The idea is we can go and make the therapist's office a reflection or a space that's a reminder of the shit that got ugly. I don't want our bedroom to be that. I don't want our kitchen to be that. I don't want being in the presence of our children or our home in the living room to be a reminder of our nastiest disagreements.
That's deep. I never even thought of it like that.
What I'm telling you is,
location, but I do realize that
Go ahead.
Now that now that the relationships that did have a lot of that in there, I do realize that once they ended, being in that same home after they're gone or after they've been here and left is very difficult and very depressing and very, very that takes a big toll on the emotions that you feel, that I feel.
This is why
overall,
when people do one-on-ones with me about breakups, and plenty of women will tell y'all, plenty of men will tell y'all, one of the first things I tell them to do is rearrange your personal space. If this person lived here with you while y'all were together, you broke up, it's time to change the furniture around, go buy a whole new bed sheet set, change the fucking picture frames and whatnot you got in your house. Change this around to where what you see is unfamiliar to what you think about with that relationship.
I did all that. Curtains, rugs.
It's important, Brittany.
It's like a whole new place.
Yes, it's important. It's equally as important that when you're in a relationship, here are the don'ts. I'm sorry. These are the don'ts. Look at number 10. I ain't met a bitch yet that don't do that.
The past. Woo! Woo! That's a hot one.
Now, look what it say next to it.
I'm guilty of that. I mean, especially if it was something real bad. Like, I mean, you know, I hope this is a safe space, but I mean, the relationship is over, but with the father of my child.
It's 2 a.m., the night still young. You live by the gun, you gon' die by the gun. Ain't no handouts for nobody. When they ain't have shit, they ain't offer me nothing. When I'm quiet, I be thinking about killers.